Well, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the panel this evening is the one and only Bridgeman. And Young, Port Bear. How we doing, boys?
Very well, mate. Evening, Bridgeman. Evening, Oxshire.
Can I say a huge good evening to you guys? Massive good evening to the boys in the lobby, to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio.
How are you, Bridge? How are you doing, brah?
Excellent, bro. Excellent. I had out for another wee good walk today down to Byers Road and walked down Byers Road a bit.
Byers Road.
Byers Road. I'll put it up my house all the way down. It's no bad. I'm very happy. Very happy.
All right. Did you make it back? Because uphill the way back, isn't it?
No. I walked down to the junction to Byers Road and Highborough Road, and then I went down to the next bus stop. Wife and I will get the bus back. But we did the first bus stop.
I'd tell you about that Councillor's ticket. I would. He's abused it.
Cheeky bastard. But no, it's we're doing very well. Thankfully, I'm getting better, and thanks to my wife, she's looking after me. I'll tell you, she's looking after me.
See the week they brought that ticket out, Mark, guys could go to the bus, go to their work.
Couple of weeks, mate, he'll be jogging back. Couple of weeks, Bridgeman, he'll be jogging back.
Fine, mate. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Couple on the colours, couple on tenants, and then he'll be fine.
These are blasts from the past. A number of decades, that is. In each of the, my goodness gracious. Lovely pubs.
All right. So we're building our way up to Sunday's game. Livingston away. But Mark, how are you doing, mate? Obviously you've been busy. Good to have you on, and your thoughts about Wednesday night. We'll go ahead for you.
Aye, Oxshire, as you know, obviously before on I was working there, so I listened in intently to the show. I caught up on everything pretty much today. Watched the highlights of the St Johnstone game today as well. So, I was very impressed during the week, Oxshire. Yet again, but I don't believe we've reached 70% yet, mate, of our potential and ability of our team. I'd strongly do believe that. But I'd seen enough during the week to suggest, even when they go and get it's tough, we'll still drag out results. And can I just add, Borna Barisic's free kick, mate. Any other league in the world or any other player, somebody like Messi hits that free kick, mate, against any other team, and he gets a lot more praise than that. So I don't believe he's the full praise what he deserves for his performance as well, and his goal. Next to him, I had a close second way. The only reason I gave Borna man of the match was because Glenn Kamara, mate, was outstanding as well. But Borna's goal and his assist for Ryan Kent edged it for me. But can I just give Glenn Kamara a specific shout out? Having been a midfield man myself, I think, he's playing out his skin. He looks like the original Glenn Kamara we bought from Dundee in his first 6 months when he arrived at the club. The guy's looking sharp, mate, very sharp. So overall, when I discussed the team, I was very pleased, mate, with the result. That's what mattered to me. We got the win at the end of the week.
Aye, some good positives, good comments here. Bridgeman, I'll let you take that because you had similar thoughts, mate, didn't you?
Exactly, yes. Apart from the fact that Port Bears lives down in the lovely area of Port Glasgow, we must be thinking the same things, because I thought Glenn Kamara had an outstanding game. Best game I've seen him having for Rangers, without a shadow of a doubt. Wonderful play. Nearly every pass was successful. He picked up balls from the defence and he moved through and him and Ryan Jack did a wonderful partnership. I thought so anyway, so don't know my opinion. And he was really good going forward. I'll get nothing but praise for him, nothing but praise. But again, as I say, I hesitate because you got to give Barisic that pass to Kent for the second goal and the free kick, the first goal, just marvellous stuff. And as Port Bear says, I don't know many left backs in the country that can score goals like that in our league. I just don't know them. But that was just outstanding. That was absolutely outstanding.
Can I just give a shout out to the people who are listening on YouTube? About an hour and 50 minutes. Something went wrong with YouTube last night, and if you were listening on YouTube, you'd have known about it with the sound that you got for about the last 10 minutes of the show. Out with our control, but apologies for everybody here at Rangers Radio, and everything I believe is working fine at the moment. Yeah, the technical department sorted out, even though it was nothing to do with them. They've sorted out. Good comments, Bridge. Port Bear, I don't know if you noticed them. They were slightly more offensive than St Mirren were, slightly. But what they done when we get the ball, they double teamed our wide men. And the guys who were doing it were doing doggies, mate, and you're not going to be able to keep doing that for 90 minutes, you know?
No, you know, but when I listened to it and I heard the commentary, you know, that's more or less what they're saying. It sounded like they were trying to stop Barisic and Tavernier getting forward, which is a massive outlet for Rangers, Oxford. But you know, having played yourself, sorry doing that for the first half, but once you get about 50, 60 minutes and you've been chasing shadows, that's what they were doing. Sorry trying to stop Tav and Barisic, but you're chasing shadows, did you say, he's doing doggies. It's tiring, mate. It was only a matter of time. And Barisic's goal made a difference, because I mean, he couldn't sit in anymore. He broke the deadlock, 21 minutes, and then, you know, they had to come at least be seen as coming to try. You know, just to pick on Glenn Kamara again, Oxford, he's got an absolute, I noticed this again, this is about Glenn Kamara, I remember, for the first 6 months. He's got a special ability, mate, you know, to retain and recycle the ball. Having watched the highlights again, you know, he was outstanding, mate. Any time the ball, he tried to make an attack, Glenn Kamara was one of the first guys there, mate, breaking the passes up, breaking play up, you know, and then retaining the ball and then starting the moves again. So I'm very impressed with him, mate. That's the Glenn Kamara that we all sort of come to love and appreciate. But the new formation being 4-2-3-1, I also believe it takes some pressure off of him and Ryan Jack to, you know, go and be that advanced midfielder. They're just been told, look, used to sit and cover the fullbacks when they're going forward each side, and let Kent, Hadji and Aribo go and express themselves along with Morelos up front, mate. So it's still a wee bit of pressure off Glenn Kamara, I think, in the forward advanced area, but we're seeing the best of him in his proper position as a deep line midfielder, mate.
All right, mate. So we part that game and we start moving on to Sunday's game. 4:30 kickoff on Sunday. That'll be quite difficult for you, Bridge. You might miss one of your masses, eh?
I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to hear from the gaffer in a few minutes, and then we'll open the lines. Does that sound like a plan?
That's a plan,
great
pal.
plan, mate. Great plan.
Port Bear, a 3-0 win. You'd have took that before the start. We move on, and I've got to be honest with you, I'd take a Bridgeman on Sunday. I don't often say that, but I would take a Bridgeman.
Totally agree, mate. They're in my opinion, out of the last 3 teams we've played, they're a tougher opposition. I think Gary Holt's got them drilled very well, mate. I would say they're even more physical than the other 2 sides we've faced over the last two weeks. You know, so Rangers better be ready for it, mate, because they'll be well drilled, they'll be well organised, and we're going to have to, you know, deal with a different kind of physical battle, mate. And that's what it'll be, a physical battle.
Have they not lost their 2 centre halves?
Yeah, one went to Murrable, didn't he?
That Lamy. Is it Lamy?
Murrable.
And of course the boy
Kieran Brown has got a thigh injury.
There you go.
Yeah.
And of course the other boy went to Hearts and played for us, didn't he?
Halkett, yep.
Halkett, yeah.
Steady player, Halkett, eh? Steady player.
Look, most players that play for Rangers have got a bit of quality. It's finding the right team and the right level for them, and I'm sure that's what that boy Halkett's done. He's found the right level for himself in Hearts.
All right, so we'll hear from the manager then. So get yourselves in mute, and we'll hear from Stephen Gerrard, MBE.
Can you just bring us up to speed with Greg Docherty and Ross McCrory? We understand Hibs have made another bid for Ross. How close are they potentially to moving on? I know you've spoken about that in the last couple of days.
Yeah, I think that's a tough question to answer in terms of how close they are. That'll depend on numerous factors. But Greg's had permission to speak to Hull. I'm told them talks are ongoing. Greg's in this morning, so the plan's to catch up with him after this morning's session. But I know they are locked in talks. So there's no really update on that situation. But that is as close as the talks have gone, which I'm not aware of at the moment. But that could happen at any given moment, or it mightn't happen. I think it'll boil down to what Greg's decision is. In terms of Ross, we knocked something back from Hibs, and I believe they have come again. So that's moved a little bit closer. The plan again is to catch up with Ross this morning. He's told me clearly that he wants to move on. But at the same time, I think the ball is in Hibs court now to match what we want.
Stephen, looking ahead to Sunday, Livingston is obviously traditionally a tough place to go, albeit you've won the last 3 times you've been there. But with the additions you've made sort of in the attacking club and obviously with Leon coming as well, how better equipped is this squad for these types of challenges?
Yeah, we have had some positive results at Livy, but having said that, it's still been a very tough challenge, a physical challenge down there. They're a good team, they're an organised team, and they try and take you out of your comfort zone. And I think we got a real eye-opener in our first visit, which we lost 1-0. So we're under no illusions that it's going to be a real tough game, and it's a game that we're going to have to be focused for and ready. But we're in good form, we're in a good place, and you know, it's down to us to go there fully prepared to win a war and win a battle before our quality can show.
The joint response group are going to reveal what sanctions they can impose on players this morning. Is that something you were expecting, and is it something you agree with?
Well, look, it's something that we're just going to have to accept and get on with it. You know, after the words of the government in terms of the Zoom call and obviously the response since, I think everyone's expecting some different rules and sanctions to come in. So we'll wait to listen to what they are, and we'll move forward and respect them.
Hi Stephen, can I just ask you how Leon is ahead of the game on Sunday?
He won't be available for the weekend. He's got a small quad problem. We're still waiting for some scan results to confirm that, but he's certainly ruled out for the weekend.
Is that one of those decisions then that you'll have to use, mix and match your centre back options to deal with the threat of Lyndon Dykes and Livingston then?
Look, we'll pick the two best centre backs we believe are capable of getting the right result. We won't really focus on any individual players that we're going to be coming up against. Phil came on the other night and done extremely well. George has had a real strong pre-season, so I'll leave it as late as I need to and then make a decision who partners Connor, because I think Connor's in excellent form, deserves to keep his place, and I'll make a late decision on Phil and George in the coming days.
Alright Stephen,
Hello.
do you have any other injury concerns? Kemar Roofe took a hell of a whack in the game on Wednesday.
He's okay from that whack, but I definitely agree with you in terms of the severity of that challenge. But he's available for the weekend. I think it's important to understand that he's in a pre-season situation with us. So for example, he's doing a double session today. He worked extremely hard the day before his last cameo. So he's on a bit of a different path than the current players, if you like, because we want to get him up to speed as quick as we can. But he'll certainly be available for selection at the weekend, albeit it'll probably be from the bench again.
When you're going to play a side like Livingston, who are very robust and very open, that it'll be a physical game. I think Gary Holt has said this week, he's described that it'll be a battle. What are the key qualities that the players need to show to overcome that and play their natural game?
Well, I think first and foremost we welcome the battle. Different teams bring different styles throughout the course of the season, but we certainly welcome physical challenges, and we need to be ready for that. And we certainly don't have a problem with it, obviously, as long as it's in a fair way. Of course, we know it's going to be a battle, and it's a battle that we're going to have to stand up to. I think what's important in these games is that we deal with direct play at times, and we win our first duels, we win our second duels, and positionally we're in the right places to try and control the game, because there will be moments and pockets of the game where the ball is not necessarily in our style, if you like. But we have to be capable of adapting within game to play different ways to get the right result.
You just mentioned that Kemar Roofe incident on Wednesday night. I just want to get your thoughts on the actual challenge itself, and whether you think that maybe retrospective action should be taken, considering it was only a yellow when you look at the actual severity and the ones in the challenge.
Well, look, we accept the referee's decision. My opinion on that challenge is different from the referees, but he's closer to it and he's dealt with it. But my opinion is, at the time, from the side, it looked like a red card challenge. But in terms of that player getting punished now, I don't want to see that. I don't benefit anything from that. I don't want to see City and make people get suspended and stuff like that. The referees dealt with it. We move on, but my opinion is certainly different from the referees on the night.
How impressed have you been by Ryan Kent's start to the season? And do you feel he's playing with less pressure now that there's a couple of new recruits through the door?
I think we all here at Rangers have to accept the pressure. I think we all live with the pressure, whether you're a player or a manager or a coach. That's part and parcel of being at Rangers. In terms of what pressure and responsibility Ryan feels, I think that's a question for him. But as a staff, we want him to play with freedom. We want him to leave the pressure and the expectation away from the pitch and go and express himself and enjoy it. We're really happy with his form, and I think that's on the back of a strong pre-season. I think he had a very mixed, indifferent one last year, which affected his form. But he's smiling, he's happy, he's fit, he's looking sharp. I think that's 2 goals in 3 games domestically. That's what we want. We want Ryan to post numbers for us in terms of assists and goals, and he certainly looks ready to do that.
All right, gents, quite a lot of stuff there. Are we both back?
Yep.
Well, part of the COVID one, I'm sure that will get brought up as the evening develops. Obviously, bad news that Big Balogun's injured there, but I think Helander the obvious choice for me to come back in on Sunday. Bridge?
Oh, yes. He's going to be the fittest one of the ones that are there. It's probably between him and Edmondson, and I think he's fitter than Edmondson. And I think he's a quality player. I think he's going to do well for Rangers. I don't doubt it for a minute. And he's played against Livingston before. The only thing he's got is he's a wee bit slower, that's all. But other than that, he's a really good player. No problem.
What's your thinking on that? It's a shame Big Balogun's missing out because they were all taking to him, but it doesn't sound as if it's a big injury report.
It sounds, I listened to it today, mate, it's a quad injury that requires a scan, so they don't know if they've seen nothing, but they're probably just having a look, hopefully just having a look to make sure there's no tears, and let's just wish the big man all the best for coming back, and let's hope it's not a tear, it's just a knock, mate, so he'll be back next game. But, one thing I'm not worried about now anymore, Oxshare, is centre-halves. I think we've got 2 well-able centre-halves. Young Edmondson, who didn't put a foot wrong in pre-season, and then when Helander came in against Bayer Leverkusen and had his wee role against St Johnstone the other night, mate, didn't put a foot wrong. I think you'd go with Helander due to his experience over Edmondson, but I am not in any way, shape or form having a slight on Edmondson, because Edmondson's not put a foot wrong, mate. I think it's only experience is the difference between Edmondson and Helander, mate, so you've got to go with Helander in my opinion.
Aye, Big Helander. I think we missed him when we were at the team. We didn't realise at the time, but we missed him. Bridge. He keeps it simple. He's sort of, he's not, if you like, a ball playing centre half. He's more a defensive centre half, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we did miss him. I think we missed the way he plays the ball out. I like the way he plays the ball out, and I love the part. He's left-footed, and he can match up with Barisic. 2 left-footed players on the one. That's great if you get 2 on one side. That's basically, I believe sincerely, that's what's giving us a wee bit more strength. When you get 2 people that are left-footed, gave it a bit more strength. Balogun's played very well. He was only played twice, but he's played very well. And unfortunately, got a wee bit injured. So, Helander I'm happy with. I don't have any problems with him at all. And I think I said it all the way along the line. Goldson is the number 1 centre half at Rangers, without a doubt. I think he's going to prove that for this season.
I definitely, Bridgman.
We've got to be honest, Port, to have George Edmondson coming in and he'll be on the bench, obviously, particularly with 9 subs. If you don't go on the bench, you should put a transfer request in. But he'll be on the bench, and we're not upset if he comes on. If something happens, if he has to come on, because he's put a Naples deputy, and Steven Gerrard, slowly but surely, in that particular pitch, is not in a good condition.
I touched on it earlier on, mate. I just don't think it's one position I'm not worried about. I think just common sense tells you, and experience, you go with Goldson, Balogun and Helander. In what formation or what's, who starts, that's up to the gaffer to decide. I know there's a lot of people will be dying to see probably Balogun and Helander. I think that would be interesting to see, and let Connor Goldson take a wee, watching for the sidelines. But Connor Goldson's up at a fit wrong and has looked very sharp in pre-season, mate. I think that wee break that he had assisted him, because he'd been ever present up until that point. So the rest, the break from football, although albeit they were doing a bit of training, I think it's let Connor Goldson recuperate energy, and maybe he did have a look at his game, mate, at a personal level, because he's certainly not put a foot wrong in pre-season on the league game so far. He's looked pretty sharp, mate, in my opinion. But it's a good headache for the manager to have.
All right, so Bridge, if people want to join us, these are thoughts and building up to the game at Livingston on Sunday at 4:30 the afternoon kicker. What's the number, Bridge?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
What's the number, Port Bear?
It's 0141 356 1972, or you can join us on Skype at rangersradio.online, and you were brought into the call by our legend executive producer. Congratulations, mate, Box.
Is he still executive producer tonight?
Excuse me, mate, that's my line.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Thanks for the call. Oh dear.
I'm reading that script here, mate. I thought it was my name. I didn't say it. I thought it says Mark Knox. Yeah.
You get the script through the post, did you?
I got it, mate. I was just.
Did you notice your script stopped about 9:20? So give us a call and give us your thoughts. Come in and speak to Port Bear and the Bridgeman this evening. Fox is the executive producer, is in a dual role tonight. We got an Oxford Terry. He's away to Bath or having a bath, something, whatever. There's a bath involved anyway. So Terry, you have a good old school blue. You have a good weekend, mate. Bridgeman. So we're going to make a change there. Hollander, but assuming Hollander comes in, it looks as if I think McLaughlin might be still in goal. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And
I don't see many other changes. I think it could be near enough the same team again. Possibly I'll throw one in there that maybe Arfield might appear for Hadji on Sunday. Possibly. There you go.
I wouldn't be surprised because Arfield's got a wee bit more bite about him, but he's certainly not got the same pace and the same trickery when he's on form, like, you know.
Well, I don't know. I would say he's got the trickery. I think I've got the same Hadji.
No, I think Hadji's very good. He's very quick at turning, and he's probably the quickest we've got in our game at turning. To tell lie, about roughly the same as Ryan Kent. But my goodness gracious, he's just not in form. So as far as his shots are concerned, he's just not in form. That's all. Other than that, I quite like him. But it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised. Arfield's not a bad player. Arfield, not a bad player at all.
Horses for courses, Port Bear. That's what I'm thinking.
I understand, mate. Totally where you're coming from. I really do. He probably gives the team a more, solid feel, if you like. I've said it on the show before. I think sometimes Hadji leaves Tavernier exposed because he doesn't do the same tracking back certainly as Ryan Kent does. But I think so far in the formation system, mate, we're using, I think Hadji's an important part of that. Kent, Aribo, and Hadji himself, in a sense that when I've noticed Hadji do, I noticed him doing it as I call it the spin pass. It's when he's receiving the ball immediately and right away he's on the turn. He turned a 10p, mate, and he played Barisic in who cut the ball back for Ryan Kent. So, it's his ability to open defences, mate. I think he's the quickest thinker out of Kent and Aribo, it's my opinion. And I know you all know I'm a Hadji fan, but certainly he seems to be one step or two steps ahead of the rest of the guys, mate, with certainly taking the ball. He's already got that pass in his head, and you've seen that on a few occasions during the St John's game, but more so for the Barisic pass, mate.
I mean, when he passed the ball to Barisic, mate, that was the first positive thing he'd done the whole half, mate.
I know. Yep.
Honest. Yep. In my opinion, I personally, I would have given him the hook at half time if we had to swap the centre halves because of injury. He couldn't control it. He was, particularly in the first half. He grew into the game a wee bit in the second. I don't want to make him a whipping boy. I'm only saying what I see. If it's Roy Walker here.
I totally get what you're saying, mate. I do see the same in similar terms to his overall performance, but I also see enough in other aspects of his game when it comes to his sharp thinking and his ability on the ball. I can see. I think Gerrard's trying to persevere, mate, and I think he's determined to make that front three, a Rebo, Kent, Hadji, make it work, mate. I think that's what he's trying to do. He's determined that system's going to work, and at times when they're interchanging, you do see it. So, but I get what you're saying. Arfield could come in and certainly add strength and a wee bit of steel to the midfield, which may be needed for Sunday, mate.
Horses for courses. So we'll see where it takes us. And of course, Alfredo Morelos, who the press 3 weeks ago, he's never going to play our game for Rangers, but here he is, mate. Happy a sandboy bridge, yeah.
I missed that last bit you said there, pal.
Alfredo Morelos, the press a few weeks ago, he was never going to play for us again, and here he is, smile on his face.
Yeah, and he's involved. I think he's turned a wee bit in form. He got a couple of goals. He's been involved in creation of goals. His assists and things like that. And every one of the goals he's been involved with have been good goals. So he just need to. That's what I've been saying. We just need him to turn a wee bit, and he gets a wee bit pick up on his steps. His steps a wee bit different, a bit more confidence, and everything about him. And he's got everything to be confident about because he's a wonderful player for sure.
Yep. Wonderful. Funny how things can turn, Port, isn't it?
Aye, well, actually, I was one of the ones that thought he was at the door. I thought we'd been lucky to see him again. But Gerrard mentioned this a couple of weeks back, and he said if Alfredo was called upon, he would be professional enough, and he's been proven right so far. Although Alfredo didn't got the score sheet the other night, he's still done enough, mate, as a focal point of your attack, to assist and get involved in our forward play. I think now he's got Roof and Itten breathing down his neck. I think he really needs to stay on his toes. But I strongly believe, mate, if we're serious at winning the league this year, Alfredo Morelos is a big part of
that. I agree. Steven Gerrard mentioned the tackle. He's very diplomatic and very honest in his views as usual. For me, it was a red card. I think the manager was right.
If you've got a full stadium, mate, he's off. I strongly believe if the stadium's full with the fan reaction and the fact he's a debuting new player in your squad, he's off, mate. He is off. That would have been a challenge I'd have been proud of in my day, but unfortunately in nowadays football it's not allowed. Roof was very lucky, mate, not to get a bad one. But like Gerrard was involved in a few meaty challenges. I probably was angry at the time, mate, when he first saw it, and thank God Roof get back up again. But he's big enough and brave enough to say it in his interview there, look, it's gone, it's finished as far as he's concerned, so don't try and make a story or nothing that's not going to be a story. I'm glad he did that, mate, because I know certain other teams may have been wanting guys suspended.
They've been going on about it in 6 months, yeah. In fact, they'd want an internal investigation.
On that tackle, I think it was obviously a shocking tackle, and I think everybody agrees with it. For me, it was a red card. I don't understand why the referee never gave the red card. I can't see that he didn't see it because it looked as if it's in plain view to everybody. However,
if you couldn't see the piggyback, how's he going to see it?
Well, I know, but I think that those two, there was a number of tackles that were poor, and those number of tackles can cause a lot of injury to players and the team is going to suffer from it. And that's not what Scottish football should be about. Scottish football should be about what they can do. How can we improve the game overall? And the truth of the matter is, I think we should have VAR. And I'm not saying that VAR would have given it, they might have turned and said, no, it wasn't a yellow card, but enough. But the decision that's done by VAR in general, that's it done. And it's just like our manager said, we don't want to go past it. It's done. The referee's made the decision, or the decision's been made, whatever that may be. And once that's done, we don't want to hear about it again. Just go on with it, go on with our life. And that's the way it should be. But we need the referees. I've always said it, for years I've been saying it, the referees need help. And it's some form of assistance, video assistance. Because all you get is shall we say, certain television stations coming out and showing these incidents.
To me, that was actually a worse challenge, Port Bear, than the boy Constantine's at Aberdeen, mate. There was more intent for me in that challenge than there was in Constantine's, and I thought that was a red card.
they're just both. They're very similar, mate. But I get what you mean. If he'd have landed, or Roof wasn't so sharp lifting his legs, lifting his feet, which I thought I'll commend Roof in that. He seen that coming, mate, and managed to ride the challenge. But if his feet were planted, mate, he was breaking his. I reckon around about the knee area. I reckon he's a very badly damaged knee, or maybe even a broken thigh, mate, which is even worse. So he was very lucky to ride the challenge. And, you know, as I said, I'm not one for after-match refereeing and video trial by refereeing all this carry on. It's gone. It's missed. Just let's get on with it. You know, don't just let's put it to bed, mate.
All right, it still wasn't his worst decision. I still can't go the fact he missed that piggyback, and Morelos' reaction was absolutely brilliant for me. Brilliant. But anyway, we move on. So if people want to join us, what's the number, Port Bear?
It's 0141 356 1972.
Or joins at Skype at rangersradio.online. You brought in a call where you can talk to Port Bear and Bridgeman.
Come on, with it.
On you go, Port.
Where's all the troops in it, Yorkshire?
Oh, it's a Friday, they'll be busy, but they'll be here shortly, mate. They'll be about. So,
Andy for Leeds, where's he? Andy for Leeds, Rudy Bear, Old Bear, where are they all?
I think the 8 o'clock start is a bit different for everybody now, you know. So they'll get used to it. They'll get used to it.
You don't need to set your alarm bids for 8 o'clock at night.
No, I understand that, but even when you know, like even when you're on last night, for instance, you knew it was at 8 o'clock. Next night you actually forget because it's Rangers Radio. It starts at 9. You know that can be stuck in people's mind. You know.
You know, but with this, we changed it to 8. Bridges, what he has his breakfast when he gets up. Then he's got to have a snack. Then his lunch, and then afternoon tea. Then he's his dinner. Then he's a Reese pudding, and then he's got a supper before the show. That's the day, mate. That's the day for Bridge Shaw.
Man's a shocker, isn't he? He's an absolute shocker.
Mrs. Bridge is a star, if that's the case, mate. She is
a star. Let me tell you that. She is a star.
She makes some lovely puddings, let me tell you.
I don't know what I'd do without her, I'll tell you. Don't know.
You'll know Mrs. Bridge when you meet her, Port. She's a man with a big medal on her chest.
That's a doll. She's a doll, I'll tell you.
All right, so Morelos, we've mentioned Port. You've been doing some work on looking at the opposition there, Livingston. They've lost a couple of players, I believe. They're always going to turn out players, aren't they? They're very honest about it.
They're a specific teammate, play a specific way, you know, and the manager Gary Holt has hinted, you know, several first team, you know, players could miss out due to their endeavours against Motherwell. It was a tough game against Motherwell, mate, where they were, you know, 1-0, 1 each, 2-1 down, and managed to get a draw from Motherwell, which is a hard place to go, mate. But, you know, Holt's basically lost his top centre-back, Kieran Brown. He's with a muscle problem. You know, he's on loan from Cardiff, but he's one of their top players. They've lost Ricky Lamie, and he's away at Motherwell as well, so he's gone as well. You know, but what they showed me in their game, mate, I watched the highlights today of their game. They showed me work rate, tenacity, self-belief, mate, to come back into that game. You know, and Gary Holt will have to be, you know, he will be up for this, mate. They've not the greatest of starts, Livingston. You know, I think they've got 1 point so far. But he'll be up for this, mate. He'll make sure Livy are, you know, ready to make a difficult challenge for Rangers. I mean, Livy had a very strong 2019-20 season, mate, and probably punched above their weight in a lot of occasions. But they'll be up for this, mate. They'll be up for this.
Yeah, you're talking about people who punch above their weight. We'll be joined by Albert. Evening, Albert.
Hi, Oaks. How you all doing, Port? Bridgeman, how you all doing?
All right, mate. How we doing?
How about yourself?
I'm good, mate. I'm good, aye. That 8 o'clock starts through me a bit because that 8 to 9 is my lunching time, you know what I mean? So it sort of threw me there.
So that's 82 minutes past then.
Aye. Premature lunching.
Oh,
aye.
Nelson.
So you're telling me she's been trap kicked for the show, Albert? Is that what you're telling me?
Aye.
That's what I call devotion.
It's not right. You know what I mean? I had to fight her there, but she won. She won, but she felt sorry for me because I started greeting. You know what I mean? So.
Good to see you're still a man's man, Albert.
What's that, mate?
Good to see you're still a man's man.
Aye. Well, I didn't go any dirty tricks. Well, I mean, I fought her straight, but she beat me. I mean, she's got some left hook. Anyway, so I was thinking about the games there. You was talking about. I was talking about Jack and Kamara.
Yes.
See, if you think about it, by the way, they're actually doing their jobs. You know what I mean? They played their part in that, in these 3 league results, which are fantastic results, brilliant. No good. Not at their best yet, but excellent results, excellent. And they too have played a big part in that. I mean, they've 3 clean sheets, and you can't say they've no done their bit in that. So they're actually doing what they're told today. You know what I mean? So from that point of view, I'm fine with them. But it's no these type of games that the midfielder we're all wanting is going to be required. It's these scrappy games when we lose control of a game and we need somebody to get the control back into the game. We seem to struggle with that a wee bit. The 10 minutes we had in each of these games where we lost control of the game, you can see them, they're struggling to get the ball back, get control of the game again. So it's that type of midfielder you're looking for to get the ball, slow it down, break the pass, bring us back into control and get our passing game going again. So, but apart from that, I'm delighted. I'm absolutely delighted with the start we'll go, really, honestly. And for Sunday, it's just going to be a battle, isn't it? It's just I know it's going to be a battle. He's already told us it's going to be a battle.
That was the first thing Holtz mentioned, I think, after his game against Motherwell.
Aye. I mean, he's trying to tell us something we already know. We all know what they're all about. They've been like that for years with that crappy park. So it's nothing new. We're not going up for a surprise, put it that way. We're not going up there and they're going to play like Barcelona or anything like that. We're going up there for a kick and rush game. They're going to try and get in our faces and rushes, and then they're going to try and fight us. What they want us to do is hold the ball, and so they can get to us and start a fight. You know what I mean? It's one of the games, but we're experienced enough now to know what's coming now. Before you'd sit and go, you're worrying about these. I'm not worrying about these boys now. They're experienced enough. Hadji's a wee off the pace at the moment, but still think the boy's a player. He is a player. So I'm not that concerned, to be honest with you. I think we'll go there and play them off the park, because just for the simple fact we're used to them now. We're used to their part and we're used to them.
And Pop Bear.
Just to add to Alex, I don't know if any of you have noticed so far this season under the new 4-2-3-1, I find next year we're not actually playing in front of teams. I felt a lot of times last year we were happy to play in front of teams and knock the ball from left to right, we forward pass, we back pass, along the back of the centre backs. So basically playing in front of a team, possession was great, but no penetration, mate, none at all. But this year with Aribo, Kent and Hadji, I think the 2 roles that the Kamara and Jack have got, it's allowing them 3 to go, and we're fullback to bomb past them as well. So you've got 5 in attack as well as your attacker. I think we're now penetrating teams, mate, which is something I've noticed that's different. We're not playing in front of teams, mate. We're actually trying to go through teams this year, and that's a massive, big, development for me. And I'm very, very happy about it, to be honest.
There's a room for improvement. I like all bears about Kamara and Jack. I think you're right, all bear of the piece, but I think the only criticism that I would maybe sometimes to both of them at certain times, that when there is space in front of you, use the space, then make a forward pass. Don't always have to go sideways and back. Yeah, when we're 2-0 up, 3-0 up, I get it. You're just playing out the game and you're recycling possession, and they would say being professional. It's not always a great watch. But when the game's there to be won, sometimes you have to go forward. Bridgeman?
Yeah, it's. I have to agree that from back to front, when Jack and Kamara were picking the ball up, they were finding the passes through, and invariably it was people like Hadji and Kent were getting those balls. If we couldn't get it that way, lovely passes out to the wing, particularly to Barisic, who was causing all sorts of mayhem. I think we're looking good. These are the type of moves that we were not screaming for, because that might not be the right thing, but we wanted to see the team play. And when we had Morelos on, and when he was on fire and buzzing for us, you could play that through ball, and invariably he'd be fighting for it. What I find frustrating. And I don't mean it just for Rangers, but I think most teams that are going to play against these, when you're playing against a team that we were playing the other night there, I mean, seriously, they're talking about must be 11. Their whole team was sitting in the box, at times. Just unbelievable stuff. And I don't know how. I don't know. I can't even complain about it because I can't find the words. It's just amazing to watch a team sitting back there, and oh my God, is it low block they call it? Couldn't get much lower, could they? Dear. Anyway, that's my only moans and groans.
I thought they were slightly more offensive than St Mirren, personally, than Wednesday night. St Johnstone, Old Bear. Old Bear. Too many Old Bears.
They were a wee bit. I wouldn't say they were flamboyant, but a wee bit. It wasn't
champagne football, but
the fact that I just don't get it with this low block. The thing I really don't get about the low block is the people that give them credit for it. The pundits and commentators, they're well organised and all this crap. You're getting it. Boring football you're talking about. I mean, you just bored the life out of everybody that was watching that game the other night. We've seen it season after season after season, game after game after game. It's no new to the Rangers fans. We've seen it that often. We just come up to expect it now. And it's boring. It's a spectacle. As I said before, if Scottish football wants to move forward, we need to find a new way of funding it, and we need to tell these teams, look, we all can't play. Everybody outside the Old Firm game can't play this low block. We're trying to attract sponsors and television, so we need to give something different. So we all play attacking football, and it's cricket scores and 5-4s and all that. People will start to watch your league. Trust me, because there's too many leagues in the world with low blocks and 1-0s and nothing eaches and crap, boring games. I mean, we've spoke before, Ox, about it. I mean, that Premiership, it's just hype crap to me because most of their games are crap. They really are crap. I mean, I've watched some of them, and I really, honestly, anybody suffering from insomnia will sit and watch some of the games because they do send you to sleep. But again, I'm not a big football fan. I'm a Rangers supporter, and I like to watch the Rangers, and only the Rangers. I do occasionally watch other games, and I very rarely watch a game full through because it just bores the tits right off me, to be honest with
you. You need an interest, mate. That might be if you've got a line on, or you've got a bear, you've got a dog in the fight, mate. If you've not got a dog in the fight, sometimes any game can be boring,
It's the big games that annoy me, the big ones that hype up, like the Liverpool Man U's, Man U, Man City, Chelsea and Arsenal. They hype them right up and hype them up. And very rarely the games are very... You get the occasional one that's good. The majority are just cancel each other out. They're boring. Absolutely boring. So that's just my opinion. And what I like football for is attacking football and goals. That's what I like. I mean, I'm not going to try and hide the fact that I'm not into tactics. No, I don't get this tactics carry on. No, I mean, everybody. I mean, if something a goal gets scored, what does the pundit start doing? They start telling you how that goal shouldn't have been scored. You come, what are you on about? What is he on about? Why? I mean, Alan Shearer, he's one of the worst for it. I say they shouldn't have scored that goal. Oh, and here's the reason why they shouldn't have scored that. Well, here's the reason why they should score the goal. That's what I'm interested in. Anyway, I'm boring you now. I can hear it in your voices.
That's plenty, Isa.
Actually, some of what Albert said is quite true. The boredom part of it is obvious, and I think that we're nobody watching the game in the stadiums, and there's only people. I would suggest there's only people like me and the guys on here that would pay the money to go and watch Rangers, and if they produced the way we're playing at the moment, if they produced or didn't improve on what we're doing at the moment, and you're actually at the stadium, I think before long they would have to go and do something because the way they've been playing. I'm not saying right this season, but sometimes Rangers played poor, and it was obvious that the fans were booing them and things like that. So we don't want to go back the way, but it might take us a wee while to go over there's no crowds and for the players to settle into it. And I think we saw some improvements in the games that we've played this season alone. I think get some big improvements in the way we play. That's what I feel.
I think they were trying to do with 9 on the bench. They were trying to silence the bench on Wednesday night.
Aye. Yeah. I say, I get what Albert's coming for. I did moan in the last day I was on the show about the absolute anti-football that these clubs are coming to. Ibrox way. I remember, mid 80s, the whole of the 90s, when, although Rangers had cracking sides and were winning 9 in a row and stuff, I still remember teams having a go Oxford. I still remember teams having a go, and Rangers, when they had a go at Rangers, they would go out and win maybe 4, 5, 6 nothing, like we've seen 7s in fact some cases. But the fact that these managers now and these other clubs, and fair play, well that's the way they want to do it, fair play to them, but have a go. Oxford, I didn't care what level I played at, I always wanted to win, and if we were playing against the better teams and better players in my leagues, I raised my game. I wanted to beat them. I didn't want to go there and try and get a draw or try and nick a game, and try and get a set piece and steal the game. I didn't want that. And like Albert touched on as well, if we're trying to make my game a spectacle and trying to, invite investors to look at our game, to pump into our Scottish, SFA and the game in general, if you're tuning into Livingston, St Mirren, St Johnstone, let's face it, guys, you're not going to attract anybody, because it's absolute anti-football.
The point I would say to you, and I'll go back to you first with Port and then go to Albury, what did it get them? They lost the 2 games 3-0. So how did it? So they opened up and they get beat 6-1. What's the difference? 2 goals of difference.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, mate. But then you can go home and at least look your family and your wife and your wains and I and say, but I had a go. I would get beat 6-1, we get beat 6-2, 6-3, whatever. But I had a go. I really shook them up today. I just think as footballers, you've got to look at yourself and say, what do I want in my career? Do I want to just be playing for a team that goes to stadiums and tries to steal games and mug teams? That's just not me, Oxford. It's just not me. And I think for your game to improve, that has to stop. Come on to hell. Have a go, guys. Have a go. It happened before. Teams have shocked teams all through football and history, Oxford. Have a go.
It's about reputations, Ox, as well. I mean, what these teams don't seem to realise is if they have a go and they get beat, and they're not going to get beat all the time, by the way, they are going to win some of these games. Let's be honest about it. Rangers are a good team, but they're no Barcelona, East Fife gap sort. I mean, they're closer than that. They're a good team, they're a good team, and they're going to get better. But the gap's no huge and miles away from them. So have a go. But one of the things is the reputation, that you'll enhance your reputation. For example, if they 3 teams, especially St Mirren and St Johnstone, if they come out and attacked us, you'd have walked away from the game winning, say, maybe 3-2, you won 3-2. You go, St Mirren are a half-decent team. I mean, we're good to watch them as well. You'd start raving on about all the teams in your league. Instead of this, you're sitting going, oh, Livingston, it's a fight. Oh, here we go, a battle. We know what's coming here. And that's not the way it should be. Football shouldn't be like this. It's for us fans, the Rangers fans I'm talking about now, the Rangers fans are the only fans I care about, really. We get it season after season, and it really is turgid. It really is turgid. And we've got to wage our way through it. Then we start turning on our own team and picking our team. I mean, I'm probably one of the worst for it, turning on our own players and all that. But it is difficult. And you've got to remember, when we did have really top-class international players, they even struggled to break these teams down at times. No, I mean, it's no easy when you're sitting with 11 men behind the ball. It's just no easy. And it's all space. Port will be able to tell you better than me. He played at that level. It's all space. You get your space, and this is your area, and you protect your area, and you don't wander in. And if the player goes into another area, you don't follow him in. You let him go unless you're man marking and all that. So it's all geography, basically, they're playing on a part. Is that right, Port?
You're bang on, mate. You're absolutely bang on. But, even, like I say, even when I was playing against teams like, Auchinleck, I played them in the Scottish Cup and stuff, and I knew they were probably miles better than me, Albert, but I still had pride in myself, mate, to go out there and try my hardest, and I did everything. I left 110, I left everything on that pitch, and I just think some of these pros have got to actually do the same, and that's what pees me off. These guys seem to be let their careers just float by them and don't seem to, think about consequences and how to better their career, and as you say, put themselves on the map, and maybe another team at another level will look at you. I just don't. No ambition, mate. No ambition, if you ask me.
I'll go back to the original point. What does it get them? What did that get St Mirren?
It doesn't get you anywhere, mate. And it's no new. They all know it, and I don't get it either. I'm going, surely you must all sit down and analyse your season after season and going, well, we played that type of football there, and we're sitting now having a relegation battle. You're going, what's the point? I don't get what's the point of this. I mean, you must have a go. You've got to have a go, especially the tap. Okay, the bottom 4 you can or the bottom 5 maybe you can understand they're in a relegation fight, but the top 7 you're going to come on, guys. You should all be playing attacking football now because most of these are safe and you know you're not getting relegated. So go for it. Make a spectacle of the league. No. Sit in. Oh, yous are too good. Oh, the report says, what, you need pride. I'm too good, so I'm not going to... Well, if boxers had the same attitude, one would sit in the corner, wouldn't come out, and the other one would stand in the middle of the ring waiting for a fight.
I think their coaches, Boyford and Johnson, I think they started for the first 5 minutes. They were actually on their front foot, and they did very well, got through, and had a nice wee shot that our goalkeeper made a really good save at it. So they managed to turn our defenders inside out for a couple of minutes, and then we managed to catch the ball and start doing something, and then they came back into it in the second half. But St Mirren didn't do anything like that. But at the same time, both teams were very poor. In my opinion, both were very poor.
If Kent doesn't score that goal, Callum Davidson's reasonably happy at half time.
Oh yes, unbelievably, yes, unbelievably,
absolutely.
Yeah,
and that 5 minutes, boys are trying to catch you cold and nick something, and then
that's all it is.
Hang on to it, yeah. And it's another boring.
You'll have noticed their tactics as well when they get the ball. When they get the ball for their goalkeeper, who has got all the time in the world because nobody's putting any pressure on him, and he just walks out and walks about the place, until they're behind. And once they're behind, he doesn't walk about quite as slow. But the only thing they do is they pump the ball really high and into the left back and the right back positions. That's all they do, and hope they get picked up. Sorry, Pam.
Here's another one, Ox.
Here's a question. Is the multi-ball system that's new to Scottish football top flight, is that going to help us because it speeds up the game? Portbear then, Albert.
I think anything Oxford that enhances and speeds up the game is good. All right, there will be some teams that will fall behind, like your so-called lesser teams, doing the divisions. But if you've got I keep saying this, if you've got any ambition to make yourself a better footballer, quick, fast-flowing football, mate, is about the day. This is how the rest of Europe's playing, and we need to catch up quickly. And I think eventually, if the teams all start doing it, it will benefit the smaller teams and the less technical teams, and everybody as a whole, as in Scottish football as a whole, will benefit, mate, for that sort of system. Yep.
Albert, and then you can raise your point as well, mate. Sorry.
Definitely. It'll speed up the game for the team that wants to attack. But the one that wants to slow it down will still find a way to mishandle the ball and drop the ball and walk slower to pick the ball up. All the usual tricks we've all seen for years. We all know the score. But for the team that wants to play fast, it benefits them. And it's a good idea, don't get me wrong, because some of the wee ball boys do my head in. And I still think you should have ball boys. But if they're just putting the ball on the wee cups, that's better than waiting for them running along the track. Try to get a hold of the ball. Especially if you're 1-0 down and 2 minutes to go, and you look at a ball boy and he's sitting sleeping, you're going, what are you doing, son? Get after the ball. But that sort of thing. So it helps that way. But one of the other tactics these teams look for is the referees and all. They're hoping these referees have nightmares. And in Scotland they oblige quite a lot because that referee, they three, it was actually 4, but three we were talking about. Their decisions were shocking, absolutely shocking. And that's me going back to my referees participating in a game and they're there to referee a game, they're not there to participate. And they're participating because they 3 decisions he's seen, and they 3 decisions should have been a foul on Hadji, a red card for the one on Roof, and a penalty kick for big, what do you call him? Hitton. Yeah. Now that's guaranteed. They 3... Sorry, mate.
I don't always agree about referees, but I think you were spot on. I'll tell you why I thought that referee was bad on Wednesday night. If you watched the amount of times he had to avoid the ball because his angles were all wrong.
Aye. He got hit once with it as well.
That can happen now. But But what I'm saying is, he was too close to the player, if that makes sense, Port Bear.
Referees should have, all Bell's mentioned it, referees should be anyway. A good referee's not seen in a game, mate. A good referee's not seen in a game. He goes about his business, and you hardly hear from him, but in important decisions, that's when they usually step up. But I think I get what Albert's talking about in regards to some decisions the other night, and I'm going to touch on it. I have not mentioned it yet. It was at Itten, the penalty. I think that was a penalty, Oxford, and I'll tell you why I think it was a penalty. He was clearly caught, but the big man was honest enough to try and stay on his feet. Now, what I think that encourages the next time Itten's through and he's touched like that, the big man's going to go down. So you're encouraging diving, more or less. Be honest, be fair, and give the guy the decision. He was caught in the box, it's a penalty. Now you're going to encourage, in my opinion, the big man to make merry it than he's probably wanting to.
Can I come in on that, Oxford?
Yeah,
sorry. I was just going to say I 100% agree, and that's one of the reasons I'm desperate for Scotland to go down and get VAR. They've got to get it, because these decisions are way beyond a referee, particularly the quality of that referee. There was 3 decisions there to be made, proper decisions, and I can't believe that VAR wouldn't have given them all 3 to Rangers. It's visible, you can see it with your naked eye, and it's no stupid. The guy, as far as a big knee tan's concerned, he got leathered. He put the ball past the guy, and the guy booted him. Finished. The guy came sliding in with his foot up against the boy roof. That's a killer of a tackle. And the other one was nearly half them in 2. Sorry, pal.
2 out of 3 of the decisions could have had a massive influence in the game. The penalty kick and the one on roof could have, because in red card and a penalty kick, right? The one on Hadji was just a normal. That's a free kick. Come on, what was he thinking about? It's just it's caught me. It was madness. It was absolute madness. It happened last year with the Hibs game. I know somebody got a co-carry up the right wing when we were attacking the Rangers. Then, if you remember right, and I remember one of the English commentators saying that. What's happening here with these referees? And you sit and go, welcome to Ibrox. We see things like this all the time. You know what I mean? But every team can pull up referees for bad decisions for their team. Every team. There isn't a team in the world that will no complain about a referee sometime. But you've now got to look at these referees and say, come on. Me personally, I don't think VAR helps the referees. I think it hinders the referees, because you get 3 or 4 balloons sitting in a van or sitting somewhere making a talk. I mean, look at the state they're in down in England. Some of them are taking all night to try and make a decision. You're going, you've got every angle. It's like, make a decision on in. So what we actually do now is the referee makes a decision. It gets reviewed by them. So there's one review. So they make a decision, and now the commentators and the pundits review their decision. So it's review after review after review, and you're going to leave it alone. Good grief, guys, leave it alone. What you should be doing is everybody's allowed to make mistakes. The referees are only human, they're allowed to make mistakes, but they should be held accountable for it over a season, not over a game, over a season. That's my point. And see any decision or play on or any discretion they get through the laws of the game, they should be all the discretion should be taken away from them. They're just there to referee the game. If the ball hits somebody's horn in their area, you see it's a penalty kick. Forget all of this biomechanics and he's trying to get his horn out all that. If it hits your horn, it's a penalty kick. If it's seen, 100%. It's a penalty kick. 100%. That's it done.
I'm not a fan of that, because I know you and Bridge wouldn't be able to do it, but me and Port, you just go up to a defender and flick it off his arm. Penalty.
That's the idea. So
what do you mean Albert and I wouldn't be able to do it? What does that mean? What a shocking statement to make.
He wouldn't get near me. I'm a sulky player.
I'll get you and then if people want to join us after the tunes, what's the number?
356 1972.
Better never get that wrong. Or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online. You can take part in the debate. Get yourselves a mute, and we're going to have a tune.
Well, I took a trip to Eyebrow, my favorite team for to cheer, where they were playing the Glasgow Celtic on the first day of the year. Now the ground was filled to capacity as the teams come out to play. The animals sang the soldiers' song, and the people sang Dolly Gray. Now half-time it came and went on. The Glasgow Celtic were in the lead. Finian Tully was rounding everywhere, shaking his rosary beads, while the green flags, they were flying high. Celtic hearts were full of pride. The second half, sure it started, and the Rangers, they turned the tide. Won't you play up the Glasgow Rangers? Oh, play up the boys in blue. Oh, play up the Glasgow Rangers. We're here to cheer for you. Now the ball goes out to Walker, and from 30 yards he did score. Sure you couldn't hear your ears at Ibrox Park for the sash my father wore. Oh, play up the Glasgow Rangers. Sammy Cox is on the ball. He slips it through to Willie Woodbarn, then on through to Ian McCall. McCall to Billy Simpson. Oh, here come the boys in blue. Well, Simpson beats the Celtic centre half, and in goes number 2. Now the Rangers fans are roaring. Jardine Young, he takes a free onto the head of William Simpson, and then goes number 3. While it's 3-1 for the Rangers, that was the final score. A happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Celtic once more. Yes, a happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Celtic once more. Yes, a happy new year from Ibrox Park, for Rangers beat the Fenians once more.
Bridgeman.
Hold on to a sit down. That was brilliant, by the way.
Absolutely superb. One of my faves. I love it.
I love it.
Good tune, isn't it?
Oh, aye, fantastic, mate. Fantastic. I just wish I knew the words. Where were we? What were we talking about?
Port Bear. Come on. Tell them you can't just have a handball if it strikes a penalty if it touches somebody's arm in the box.
I think some of these new rules, mate, are absolutely bonkers. I sit sometimes, in amazement at some of the refereeing decisions. I totally agree with what you're saying, mate. 100%. I think one of the things we should actually look at in the Scottish game, not just the Scottish game, probably the world game, mate. I think there's too many of these. In my eyes, I used to always call them this field footballers that are referees. That are just bit of wee men that didn't quite make it good as a footballer, so the referee was the next big thing, mate, and some of them are still quite angry at the footballing fraternity. So I'd like to see a lot more footballing minded guys, mate, involved with refereeing. I really would.
You don't seem to get it, mate. They've tried before, haven't they? They've tried to get boys who get the game injured. They've tried all sorts, mate, and it just doesn't seem to happen, haven't they?
Aye, exactly, mate. 100%. Aye, bang on. Yep.
They bring VAR in to help the referees, and there's another crazy situation with the referees. They bring VAR in. Now, VAR to me is proving that referees are incompetent at their job. That's all VAR is to me. But anyway, they go down to a millimetre when the offside decision. Oh, that goal can't go because he was a millimetre. The wee back end, his toe was just offside and all that. You get it. That should be used the other way about, Ox. That should be as any part of your body onside. That's what you should be looking for. Any party, that wee millimetre is onside. Well, that's it. That goal stands. Stop being they're being negative all the time.
I like that, but I didn't like your horn ball one, mate.
Oh, the horn ball's a good one. It's got to happen, mate. It's got to happen. The fact of the matter is, if you're skillful enough to hit a ball off a guy's horn, well, that stops the defender running out to you and spreading himself like a goalkeeper. You know what I mean? And the one that springs to mind all the time is Whittaker with Hibs in our box, and he used these two horns to stop the ball, and the referee went play on. You know,
that's just bad refereeing. That's nothing to do with it.
Yeah. But no, that's the point I'm making. So you take that decision away from him. It's a horn ball. He sees it's a horn ball. It's a penalty.
Can I come in one thing? The League Cup final when we played them last year there, that goal that they scored against us would never have stood with VAR. Never in a million.
It would have stood the old Bears VAR, but
I know he would have. But no, there was 3 of them offside. Simple, dead easy. That's offside. The referee, obviously, somewhere along the line, the referee and the linesman between them, there was no way they weren't going to give them that. That's simple as that. That was an offside goal, and VAR would have picked that up.
I think we've been joined by Alex. Evening, Alex.
How you doing, Ox? How you doing, lads?
Hi, Alex.
I can't remember your number, but I remember some of it.
The last 4 digits, you'll not forget that, pal. 1690.
How we doing, mate? What's on your mind?
I was just enjoying listening to your chat as usual, but I have to pick you up and something. Though you're saying that teams are anti-football and that in Scotland when we're coming up against them. See, if you're honest about it, see when we come up against the better teams in Europe, we tend to go defensive as well. So it's just into the kind of budget and everything that you've got as your club.
What we're saying is we're talking about the league situation where St Mirren were getting a bit tighter all bear offers, weren't they? And what did they achieve with the way they set out to play the game? They ended up getting beat 3-0.
I mean, that's exactly right. But see, we do it, mate. When we do it, it's all right as far as I'm concerned.
There's that as well.
I honestly don't. I can't see it, Alec, or even how we doing. I can't see it. When we played Leverkusen this year and we played other teams in Europe, I felt Rangers still had a go pretty much every European match since Gerrard's come in, mate.
He's maybe talking about 2008.
Oh, sorry, I don't why. Fair enough.
But even the games with Leverkusen, I mean, that second leg, we were pretty much out the game at 3-1 down. But, you know, I really didn't mind the kind of performance we put in, getting beat 1-0 over there. We were it was out the tie anyway, but we certainly didn't have a go at the Germans. I think if we had a go at the Germans, we could have been a 4 or 5-0.
We might not have had a go at them, but at least we had 2 or 3 men up the park. St Mirren, it's most of the time, particularly in that first half, with 10 or 11 players in the box, mate.
I know.
You know, there's a big. What we're saying is, St Mirren come to Ibrox, right? And all better point he made is they might get beat 8 times out of 10. They might draw 1 game and win 1 game. If they have a go, they might draw 2 games and maybe win 2 games. Or they might get beat 5-1 instead of 3-0. Where's the difference?
Well, listen, I just see teams like St Mirren and Ross County, Hamilton Accies and that they're petrified now getting humiliated after both us and Celtic. I mean, they're the first game Celtic hammered Accies 5-1, but the Accies will no do that again against us, or probably do it against them. I think just teams are petrified now because Rangers and Celtic Rangers are certainly trying to catch up with Celtic. They're buying a far better quality player, better than that they've got. So they're petrified, their humiliation. So the defending numbers, I know it doesn't. It's no appealing in the eye for us, but I can understand why they set up that way. That's all.
I can understand how you do it if there's an out to get yourself up the park. But St Mirren had no out. Then what did it achieve for them, Alex?
No, I know.
They could beat 3-0. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I get that point as well. It's not appealing in the eye for us, but I just think they've got a fear factory. Be losing 4, 5, 6, 7. You know.
But they've also got a responsibility. They've also got a responsibility to entertain the crowd. I mean, I know that sounds kind of crazy talking about professional football that way, because it's all about money and it's all about bonus money, and they've all got mortgages to pay and all that. But they really have got a responsibility to draw people into the ground. And if you keep playing this way, the crowds are just going to get less and less and less, as they have been doing for the last two or three decades. So, to my mind, like Ox says, I agree with Ox. What is the point there? I don't get the point there. You're going to get beat anyway, so means we'll have a go and get beat than just sit back and get beat. That's my point to it anyway. I know there's a reason they're doing it, and I know they don't want tanked and all this carry on. But you sit and go to yourself, come on, this is no good to what. And you're trying to produce a product to produce and to draw sponsors in. And we need to do something different for every other league that we're up against, because they're all bigger, better, better money getting into their leagues. We have no. So we need to come up with something unique for us. Same as our brand of football when we used to play Scotland. We always played with wingers. That was what we were known for, tricky wingers. Then all of a sudden we try to change to be Brazil or change to be Germany or Italy. We keep trying to copy another country. Don't copy anybody. Be unique. Be yourself. Do what you do, and let's see where we go for there. Because the way we're doing it now, nothing's produced in our leagues and nothing's produced at international level. They don't like to care about the international level, to be perfectly honest with you, but you see what I'm saying.
All right, let's go back on track. Let's go back about Sunday's game. We went off on a tangent there. Albert came in and took us away. We enjoyed it, but let's go back on track. They'll make it physical. Alex, they'll make it physical. They don't shy away from the fact of the physical side, but at least they try and have an out ball. And at least they have a go at everybody the same.
I get that.
You might not like it.
I know. But listen, Ox, I just wanted to say to Albert there, he said that they've got a responsibility to play up to the crowd. What crowd?
True, mate. Well, the 33,000 that are in the dugouts.
I just had to pick you up that pub.
Anyway, we'll be joined by another caller. I think it's Andy Felix. How we doing, Andy?
No bad. Yourselves?
All right.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
yeah. Things are okay at the minute. Hopefully. Yeah, about Sunday, does anybody think we're going to get a bit between my teeth here and go and try and lay a marker down on this plastic pitch and let them know that it's totally out of the heat now? That's what I'd like to see Rangers do.
Here we go. It's going to be a minimum another 3-0 victory.
Yeah, well, I'm going.
That's brave. That's brave.
I've got a 4 or 5 line going there on Sunday. That's what I'm going for, 4 or 5.
Wow.
I just want us to go out there and lay a marker down on them. And I think we can. Listen, if the Minifield can go and do it, why can't we? You know what I mean? Just get in them.
I would take a Bridgeman because it's for 3 points, but a minimum 3-0 Port Bear.
I think we've seen enough, especially the last 2 games with 2, quite physical sides. I think Livingston are even more physical than the other 2, but I think we've showed enough in the last 2 games, mate, to show these teams are not fit enough for one to withhold Rangers' pressure for even 60 minutes. So I think we'll be more than enough for the teammate to press on and get a good, comfortable, probably keep a clean sheet, a 3-0 win I'm going for as well. And I think we'll be absolutely fine, mate. Honestly, I think we'll be fine.
What was that, pal? I thought I heard Port Bear speaking there. I think on Sunday we're going to come up against a team who is just as they've got a bit better quality than the 2 teams that we've just played, St Johnstone and St Mirren, but they're a far more physical team than both of them, in my opinion. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. I agree with the sentiments that everybody said insofar as let's get into them and so on and so forth. I'm the guy that wants to get into them big style, but we need to watch what we're doing. And as far as I'm concerned, The best thing we could do is get a win, get a victory, get 3 points. If we get 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, all the better. But 1-0 will do me. Not necessarily do me, but we need to play well against them, show them who's the boss. I agree about laying a marker down, 100%. If we can do that, do it. But they're going to be a tough team because they're going to come out with the same tactics, only a bit tougher. And they're going to boot people off the park. And that's for sure. They're going to do that to your players.
Oh, yeah, Alex, but then I would say the advantage they've got is the pitch, Alex.
Oh, aye, definitely. They plastic pitches, they're a kind of hindrance to us for the style of football that we want to play. But to be fair to us, we've got quite a good record against Livingston and putting the game to them. They've always been tight affairs and there have been battles, but we've came away with 3 points more often than not. So I've got every faith in the way we've started the season. I mean, Hibs went there and beat them 4-1. There's no reason why we can't stick at least 3 or 4 past them the way we started the season.
Albert?
I think we'll win, definitely think we'll win. And I think it will be 3-1, to be honest with you. And I'm giving them a goal for the fact that everybody's ranting and raving about how good our defence is. And I'd like to have seen Big Balogun on to match up with Dykes and things like that, because I think Livingston are going to give you their forwards, as they've got to, are going to give you a challenge, because I don't think they've really had, our defence has had a right challenge, apart from the Leverkusen game, that is. But the domestic games, I don't think we've really had a challenge yet defensively, and we've coped really, really well with. But we're not up against anything because none of them has really any forwards, you know what I mean? So I think this will be different. And I'd like to see Big Balogun to see how he got on, right? But he's not going to be there. So I think it'll be 3-1. I think the defence is going to get a bigger test than I've had so far.
I agree with that.
I've got a simple view, and then I'll come back to you with this, but if we play, and I say this quite often, if we play, we keep the ball, we score goals, we win.
Oh, definitely.
It's all down to what we do. We're a far better side than they are.
Yeah, and we should go out on the fact knowing that and saying, look, let's get into them, stop them. We know we're going to get them coming on top of us a bit, but I don't think that'll be a bad thing, because like what you said there, defence has not been had a look at us, really, have we? So, if we could stand up to that and come off with a good 2 or 3 minutes, like Mahid said, right, just get the win and the points. But like I said the other night there, I want us to go and get goals and really lay down a marker here. That's what I want. And I think we shouldn't be bothered about that. We really shouldn't. Like you said there, listen, the Minifield beating them 4-1. We should be going up there and going, well, if you're doing that, we're certainly going to do it, if you get what I mean. I don't think there should be any problem. Just get the right attitude on, the right team. I wouldn't play RJ, because I think they'll go for him. I think they'll try to murder that guy. I really do, because that's the kind of game they play. So I would stay away from RJ altogether. Like you said earlier on, they're possibly bring Arfield in. I really wouldn't touch RJ in that game. Not at all. Not because I don't rate him or I don't rate him. It's the fact that I think they'll try to murder him, as I've just said there. I really do. And I don't think he can stand up to that.
The only thing I would say about Livingston in their defence, Port Bear, they're an honest side. They treat everybody the same, don't they?
Aye, they play one way and one way only, mate. And I sort of respect that. I don't want to make the pitches an excuse, Oxygen. We've played in this league long enough now. We've got 3 of these plastic pitches in my league. As much as I can't stand them and don't like to play the professional game, we've got 3 of them. I don't want Rangers to make that as an excuse about the pitches. In my opinion, we've just got far too much ability in my team for them, far too much movement. And just regarding what Andy was saying there regarding Hadji, if he's going to want to stay in Scotland, who I want him to do, I want nothing more than Hadji to be an absolute sensation in this country. If he's going to want to stay, Andy, he's going to need to stand up to teams like, Livingston, St John's, St Mirren.
I totally agree with what you're saying, because he's got something about him, but he's a stone too light for me. That's one of my problems with him. I think he needs to, get in the gym, muscle up a wee bit, and I mean, he's got to get savvy. He was there at the start, at the back end of last season.
The West of Scotland 6 months. Give him a 6 months and then put on a stone.
Aye, that's up his eye.
A nice few chip roll gravies, Andy, will be fine. A few kebabs.
Aye, that's it. That'll get him sorted out, right?
Anyway, we've been George with George Logan. Evening, George. How we doing?
How you all doing, boys? All right?
All right, George, mate, how we doing?
Hi, George.
Hi, good chat tonight again, boys. I like what you're saying, Ox, about Arfield for Hadji. Before the other night there, I mean, Kamara's no set hair on fire for me, so I would have probably went with taking Kamara out and bringing Hingman, but that'll probably be a harder midfield. I like what you're saying there, so we'll have them in the midfield. I think we're going to... We can win that game, of course we can, but I think we're going to have to win a battle as first, Ox. We're going to have to, like I say, get the working bits going for the first wee bit, win the battles, and I think we can win the game. But looking forward to it again, and I think the wee change that's got to be put in the team's got to isn't got to distract at all. So I would say if you take Hadji and centre half's got to be changed as well. I don't think it's got to really change the team that much, if I'm honest.
Aye, George. Livingston, they're an honest team. They'll play. They'll fire it long at the dikes. They'll see where it takes them. But if we get their back four, we should be able to score, mate.
Oh, of course, Ox. That's the thing. Aye, definitely. We need to be ready for the game. But if we're up for it and we do what we can do, we'll get the 3 points, which is the most important thing. Ox, I like what everybody else is saying. Go for goals and that. But for me, I'll take a bridge man all day long. In all these games, let's just keep in the 3 points going in the table for me. So looking forward to the game, definitely, Ox. And Morelos, like you said earlier on, I did not think he'd play for us again, and there he's had a bit of form, scoring goals again. So I can see him playing them on as well.
Albert, if we take the goal like George is saying and we get the 3 points, that'll be the best start under Stevie G. First 4 wins.
It's a fantastic start, let's be honest, for any manager, let alone Stevie G, you know what I mean? And it was the first game was an awkward game away from home with Aberdeen, and then the other 2 games are on paper look straightforward, but not quite as straightforward as everybody thinks they were going to be. And the Livingston game's always a tricky game. So if we do get the 4 victories, and I'm quite positive we will get the 4th victory, you know what I mean? Fantastic. You can't ask for any more. I mean, I'm delighted. We're not playing well. I'm not saying that I'm delighted with the performance, but I've told you before, the performance is just icing on the cake to me. It's the victories that matter. To win leagues, you've got to get the victories. I know it sounds obvious. It is obvious, but you know what I'm saying. Get the victory, and then we can pick the bones out of the game and say, "Oh, didn't play well," and all. That's fine. But you get the victory. Aye, it's different picking the bones out of the game when you get beat or draw. I mean, that's sore. That is sore. And then that's when the real criticism starts creeping in, and the unfair criticism in some players. I mean, I picked on Golson for a while. Still think he's got his moments of tragedy in him, but he's starting to play well now. And you're sitting going, right. So the victory. It's always a victory for me. Get the 3 points at all costs. Get the 3 points.
Am I right?
Yes, mate.
Just going to add, you know. You think of Livingston's front two, you know, Bigland and Dykes is their focal point, who'll always give, in my opinion, any centre-half pairing in the league. He'll always give them a game, mate. But you've also got the young boy Alan Forrest, you know, who's a well-recognised young talent in the Scottish game. You know, he was at Ayr, he had a great time doing it at United. He's come up to the big time and with Livingston, and he's playing the top league in Scotland. You know, and he's done very well. He's already scored against Rangers for Ayr. You know, so I think they're very dangerous, mate, in their forward line as well. So I think they have got ability, mate, to get in and get about us. So we really need to bomb our toes, Oxford, in my opinion, to keep these clean sheets. That's where the Rock's been this year. We built our platform on not conceding goals. So that's where I want it to stay, mate. Not concede. Your play, cream all rise to the top, and your play should always be enough for anybody in that league.
Can I come in, Oxford?
Yeah, on you go then.
No, I was just going to say that some of the things that have just been said there are very true. Most of the stuff has been said very true. But I think one of the most important things that we've been said, and just said 5 minutes ago, we're a far, far better team than Livingston could only dream about. Seriously, we're a really good team. We've got some wonderful players, and we just need those players to come together and do the business on the park. Get the ball, get the ball retained. The way we were doing it against St Mirren was wonderful to watch. Ball retentions, balls getting pushed through, marvellous. Get some goals. That's what I want.
Charles Logan.
I agree with everybody's saying there, Ox. What we've got to guard against is complacency, because I think within that the other night, a lot of folk put it into the substitutions and that, but at the end of the day, the guy that's already on the park's got to keep the tempo up. So if we're making 1, 2, 3 or 4 subs, whatever it is, you've still got to keep the tempo up. So the more of that's what it's got to be about. That's why I say about winning the battle first. The big guy up front's a bit of a battler, so he's always got to be a bit dangerous. We've just got to play our own game and not at any point, take the foot off the barrel, because that's what we're going to end up shooting ourselves in the foot with, because it's already been up 2 and 3, but teams can get into games when it's only 1 and 2. So I think we've got to play, like Stevie Gerrard said the other night there, we've got to play for the full 90 minutes.
Good point that George makes about substitution. Port Bear, I'll take this to you then, Alex. A lot of people, and myself included, the tempo died out the game. But there's no need to protect players unless they've got an injury, of course, and Sunday there's no need to do that, because we've not got another game for the next weekend.
Just to touch on what George says, mate, complacency's killer. Always remember that. Complacency is killer. If we start getting complacent, this wee run could come to an end.
Listen, you get with the wrong attitude, you'll no win, mate.
Aye, exactly, mate. That's exactly what I'm touching on. So, and on the other point, I just think we have to play the way we play. We'll always be there to beat other teams, mate. I just feel it's air for Steven Gerrard this season, mate. We're never going to be presented another chance, in my opinion, like this. The footballing gods have been good to us. The other teams made mistakes across the road, and we need to take full advantage of this, mate. Because I believe, and I strongly believe this, Oxdear, if we create an 11-point gap with Sunday, or 8 points, I can't remember what it is. If we create that gap, I don't think we're bad enough to lose that, mate. And if we keep winning games the rest of the season, 55's coming home, mate, and I strongly believe that.
And can I just say, when you talk about complacency, in my experience, and I've played in a lot of football in a lot of places, a lot of levels, and I can assure you, there's nobody worse than midfielders when complacency kicks in. They're dreadful.
That's because when you get these centre halves that just kick it, Port Bear, and you see, you read.
Aye. Miss out the midfield. Aye, miss out the midfield, mate.
What's the point, didn't you?
Aye.
I agree with you, Bridge. I agree with you. I don't know many frames of snooker I've lost through complacency.
I know it's a different subject. What about that game? That frame of snooker today? Did anybody see it?
No.
97-74, the last frame to get into the final of the World Championship. Something like that. Mental. It was about an hour long. Anyway, what were we? Bridge, you've thrown me off my track now. The substitutions, Alex. There's no need to do it, because we don't have to look at fitness and people playing 3 games in a week, because we don't play the next weekend. So we can make the right substitutions, know the numbers we need.
Aye, definitely, mate. It's good game management for Gerrard at the end of the day, isn't he? He's looking after numbers and minutes and legs, and he's starting to give, like say, the Roof and Itten game time. He gave them half an hour there the other night. I don't think that we lost the momentum with Aim coming on. I think it was more to do with Kent and Aribo coming off, because they two were picking the ball up and driving at the St Johnstone defence. Like say Davis and Arfield, they weren't as attacking. So I think that's where we lost again. But listen, everybody's fighting for a jersey. So when they're coming off the bench, they want to make the best impression as they can on Gerrard, and by that, for Itten and Ruth, it would be goals. So everything's all good.
All right, we've been joined quickly by Mr. Bubbles. Evening, Mr. Bubbles.
Good evening, lads. Right?
Mr. Bubbles.
Bridge, man. Unbelievable, man. The phone calls I've had today, dearie me, man. Thought about getting slaughtered. But anyway, listen, guys, I'm listening to your chat about the game. Now, bear in mind, we've had 3 wins under our belt here. We've not received any reply from any teams. I just think we're panicking a wee bit. Rangers keep the ball on the deck and play to our capabilities. We will scoot this on Sunday. The stage is set for Joe Aribo to play his wee close football, his wee one touches, the wee triangles that we play. And I'm telling you right now, watch Joe Aribo this week. He'll be the star man. Trust me. Rangers will win this game with 2 clear goals. Easy.
I went for 3-0.
Easy 2 clear goals. Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm listening to a lot of doubt in some of your voices there. We need to watch. They'll play to their strength. They've got Dykes. They've got... I don't care who they've got. It's what we're going to do. The bottom line here is that part... If we play football, if we did a nice wee touch... I know we moan most weekends about too many passes, but if we play the passing game on Sunday, we'll play them off the park. Hibs opened them up how many times? So what are we going to do, guys? Come on, and the back door's solid. Let's be honest. Goldson could play them himself. Come on. Have a bit of, know what I mean? Come on, be the Teddy Bears. A bit of no surrender in there, man. 3 points in the bag, 3 goals, and 4 nothing to the Teddy Bears. I'll up it with 2. There you go.
Steve, I think you'll find most of us have picked a positive result this weekend, mate. All we're saying is, you know, in a championship winning season, all we're basically worried about is complacency. I'm not worried about any other team in the league. I'm worried about our team. That's the only team I care about. And I've noticed in the last 2 seasons, there's something crept into our team, you know, around about the Christmas period. I don't know if it was complacency. I don't know if they already thought it was one.
Too much turkey.
Exactly, might be too much turkey, mate. You might be right. But certainly, on a positive note, we're all pretty sure we're going to win at the weekend, but we just want to make sure this run stays, Stephen, make sure it carries his whole way this season to 55 titles, mate, because I'll be over the moon when it happens.
Right, Mr. Bubbles, I think Mr. Fox is wanting to come in.
Mr. Bubbles, eh? Mr. Bubbles.
Stevie, you're supposed to blow the bubbles, no drink them.
Good evening.
How are you doing, Mr. Executive Producer?
I'm doing fine, thank you very much.
Well, watch Jerry Gaffer and watch.
I'm just after texting my team through to Stevie G, mate, see if he'll do tomorrow. My back 4 would be, I think McLaughlin will hold on to his spot and goal, and it'll be Tav, Goldson. I think I would go personally for Edmondson for a wee bit of strength and pace over a Hollander on this part. He's just coming back for injury. And of course, Barisic, a middle 2 of Kamara and Jack. And up front, I'd have Kent on the right, Morelos in the middle, and Joe Aribo on the left, and Itten up front. So if he doesn't play that tomorrow, he's getting sacked.
Your new titles went to your head, pal.
There's a positive team for you. Albert.
I would go something similar to that myself. In fact, I would go with that team. It sounds a good team. But I would probably be the replacement. I'll play Edmondson, and I think that's the only change that will be. It with the same team that played St Johnstone.
I would play Hollander before Edmondson.
I know, I'm going with Fox. He made a good point there, by the way, of that pitch and him just coming back for injury. So I think that'll be in Stevie G's thinking as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would go with Hollander.
I would go with Hollander. Play your best team for me, and Hollander's a better centre half than Edmondson. Portbear.
Hollander's got to start for me. Last time we played them, he played against Mr. Dykes, and I think he had Mr. Dykes in his back pocket personally. You know, he didn't seem a problem for Hollander. I think just with experience as well, mate, having played in the Italian league and being a Swedish international, that'll always be a first team for me. Unfortunately, Edmondson's not put a fit wrong, mate, but he's going to need to learn that for the experience that is Hollander, Balogun and Goldson. That's just the way it's going to be. Midfield 2, I've been Jack and Kamara, Kent, Aribo and Hadji, and Morelos up front for me, mate. I think that's what we'll start with.
All right,
consistency.
Alex?
I would agree with that team, Portbear. I think that's the team he'll go with. I think Goldson and Hollander, they've played the Bayern Leverkusen strikers in the cracking games against him, so they've got nothing to fear with coming up against Lyndon Dykes, and the rest of the team kind of picks itself in it, and just let Itten and Ruffy come off the bench and get minutes in their legs when they need it.
Andy, and then Mr. Bubbles.
Same team as Fox for me, but I would just have Hollander in for Edmondson. That would be my team. That's a good team that Fox picked there. Shows intention, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Certainly does. Yep.
Mr. Bubbles.
Barry, the exact same team for me for the other night, and I would keep back getting to come on for the sub bench, definitely. I think Hadji's got something to offer on one of these plastic pitches, I really do. And it's close ball stuff, and I think we Hadji would be able to show us something. I would go with the same team, but obviously I would have a Lander over the Fridge, definitely.
The Fridge, nice one.
Interesting. Big Stevie's come on, he's been really, really positive. Just quickly, how do we see it going? I went for 3, Port Bear.
3, mate, yep. 3's up.
Yep, all right. Bridge?
I'm going for a 1-0, and hopeful we get more than 5.
Wait a minute to get my rubber out. I put you down. I thought you'd started going a wee bit more positive. I need to rub that out and put you down for 1. Right, okay, 1-0. Alex?
I fancy a 4-0 this week.
Oh, I like that.
Superb.
Albert?
Just want to ask Bridge, did you get an implant today? Did they put that 1-0 back into you? I thought they took it out.
Somebody stole my position on 1-0. I thought I'm going to get it back again. So.
Oh, and that's the best line for a while when they Skipper, when Bridge says, I've not got a buttered bone in my body. And Skipper says that must have been the operation when he got it too cute.
Cracker. Absolute cracker.
3-1 for me, I think it was 3-1.
3-1, you said say. Alex, you said you went for 4 and all. Andy?
I'm thinking 3-1, but my line's saying 5, like, my crazy line, so that's I'm looking at 3-1.
Right, Mr. Bubbles, come on, what are you stopping with now? What are you going for?
I'm going for 4-0. I said 2 would win by 2 close goals, but I'm changing it to 4.
All right, John, your caller. Evening, caller. Oh, George.
Hi, it's Kenny.
How you doing, Kenny?
I'm doing all right. I think we'll do quite well this weekend. But I was just phoning to say about a couple of people that maybe helped Stevie G win this league this year.
Go on then.
Mario Götze, the German international.
Right.
He's on a free transfer just now.
Was he not playing with Real Madrid?
$100,000 a week.
He's on a free transfer.
$100,000 a week wages.
Right. The sort of thousands of strips.
Aye, we'll give him a strip.
On you go. Next one.
Aaron Ramsey is at Juve, but he's not getting many games now either. On loan.
$50,000 a week.
With the greatest respect, he's on about £250,000 a week, Ramsey.
But he's not getting a game, so and he'll have to think about his international career.
I love your ambition, mate. I love your ambition. Who's next?
Must be Ozil. He's only $400,000 a week.
No.
How do we know? We should go for that Pogba as well, shouldn't we? He's not. How much is he on?
We should start a Rangers Radio GoFundMe page for any of these two.
I agree, folks. I agree.
Right, Kerry, come on, stop pulling my leg. Come on.
Well, you never know.
Listen, is this the first time you've been on?
No, I phoned on the 6th of May and I was quite drunk the last time I spoke to you.
Are you drunk tonight?
No.
He's sober,
Hey, Ramsey.
I am sober, actually.
Ramsey will need to be good, by the way. Ramsey will need to be good. We'll need to sell the whole team to play him.
Are you sure? I've just looked at the data. The last time you phoned in was the 1st of April. Is there any coincidence?
No, definitely not.
Where are you from, Kenny?
Gala.
Gala. Right. As in Ferrydean.
Yes.
Right, cool.
Yes.
So is it not a funny boy you play with in there?
No. Well, rugby ball, yes, aye.
I'm only joking,
Listen, being serious, look, with my ambition, as Port Bear said, but I think we're going to be realistic. We normally need a midfielder, but these guys are out with a budget, mate.
But there's a... And maybe do a turn if you had a chance of getting them, you know.
How much are you going to put in for this $100,000 a week? You personally?
Well, Bridgman seems to have all the money.
Well, Bridgman can afford it.
Somebody else knows Bridge, eh?
It must be our executive producer that's telling everybody how much I'm on.
Put it this way, Bridge, if I was going to commit suicide, I'd jump off your wallet.
Nice
I'll
one,
tell you
Olga,
what,
nice
Olga, you'd be all right if you landed on it. Kenny, come on.
Yeah.
Realistically, we accept we need a midfielder, maybe. As they're called now, box to box. I would think somebody like Ian Ferguson back in the day.
Yeah. Stuart McCall type.
That kind of type. I think everybody needs somebody who's going to carry on glamorous stuff and just make his play. But if Jack and Kamara keep playing like they did on Wednesday night, do we need that?
No, they're doing well. They're doing really well. But then again, if you get, like, say, Kamara gets sold or Morelos, then you're back to square one again.
Those will always come and go, mate. I'm a great believer.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Ian and Alfie, mate, as much as we love him, you don't know what's going to happen in an injury front the next game. You've just got to deal with it.
Yeah, definitely we know. That's it, just the way the game is.
And are you happy how things have gone this season, mate?
Oh, fantastic. It couldn't have went any better for us.
Aye. Just going back to the COVID 9 or 10 when you include Mr. Griffiths, Port Bear, yeah?
Yeah.
This group have delayed their decision, but the clubs will be punished.
I see the story developing, mate, and I was sort of watching it. You know, rightly so, mate. I suppose rightly so. But you know, I'm so focused this year on football. I really don't care what happens across the road or what happens to any of the players. But if there's punishment due and they're duly punished, then so be it. They broke the rules twice.
I heard that COVID-9, by the way, that Griffiths was on the streets trying to buy a couple of grams of it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
We'll need another GoFund page.
Aye, so if punishment's due, Oxford, you know, if the government and the laws of the land, you know, say so, then it has to happen, mate. But let it be a lesson to every other footballer that maybe would be, you know, thinking of breaking the rules. It's going to affect your club. And I'm going with Rangers players here as well. I know we've not stepped out of line next year, but I'm talking about any player. You could cost your team big trouble. Because just look at the position we've been handed through player stupidity, you know. So just let that be a lesson to everybody. And there'll be more stringent punishments coming, in my opinion, mate.
Ultimately, individuals make mistakes, but management are responsible, aren't they? As you
Absolutely, mate. 100%. 100%, mate.
Look at your old industry this week.
Aye, exactly. With the train crash up at Aberdeen. Aye, exactly, mate. It's as I said before, you can delegate authority, but you can't delegate responsibility. Responsibility remains with the management. So at the end of the day, the management can turn and tell you need to follow the protocol, but it's their responsibility to make sure that you do. And that's the way it is in management all the time. But one of the things that's concerning me with this carry on is either they're going to do the players and the clubs, and then they're going to look at rule changes. Right, so that means that see if the rule changes come in after the day two players, is the club's going to get done retrospectively? That's what I think that's the only fair way. So whatever rules they bring in, it needs to apply to the clubs that have already defaulted at the moment.
Be interesting to see how it pans out, mate, and really interesting. I'm just glad at the moment that we're not involved in the law, mate. Stay that way, and our players seem to be totally professional.
Here on that one. Here on that one, pal.
You know, you're absolutely bang on, mate. I just think, you know, as a player, you've got responsibility to look after yourself first and foremost, your family, but also your employer. You know, you've got to go out there and set the right example to yourself, your fans, and you know, ultimately, if you keep keeping with the rules, mate, you'll not be punished. You know, it's as simple as that. It's as absolutely simple as that, Boxer.
And remember, it is 10. Obviously, Mr. Griffiths as well was involved in things that he shouldn't have been doing concerning the COVID situation. Andy Phillips.
Yeah, I totally agree there, right enough. I just hope that we're squeaky clean and bang on it to make sure that, because when they start changing the rules about, they'll find a way to involve us. So as long as we keep our noses clean, get on with the job, and let the rest. I mean, they should be punished. I think both these two teams. I think they should have points docked or something on that line, because you know what you're actually doing at the end of the day here. Whether you like it, we've all been on lockdown and coming out, and people like Pot and ourselves and all that are going on these special things. You know, they're trying to save people's lives. They're putting lives at risk. Whichever way you look at it, you know, it might be plateauing out or whatever, but you know, there's people that can still catch it and still die with it. So they're called, you know, they're actually putting people's lives at risk. So there has to be proper sanctions put into place. Say, right, this is what the rules are, and you're not getting away with it. This is life we're talking about here. And that's the way I see it. I mean, when you think of all these people that's gone out and done all these, and then you get a baboon like that goes over there. But there again, they didn't know he was over there, did they? Aye, right, okay.
I don't know how that works, mate, because as Fox rightly pointed out with drug testing, I thought with professional sport you had to let people know all your movements because you can be drug tested at any time. Oh, Bear.
Fox, can I come in with something quickly, mate?
Yes, mate.
This is a shocker, mate. Barcelona 2, Bayern Munich 8.
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay. Shows you how
Can I ask you a question, Ox? Can I ask a question?
Yes, mate.
Who in the panel or who on the night thinks the season is actually going to go all the way to the end without getting interrupted? In other words, another lockdown or another, we'll go to stop it because there's more breaches of the protocol for COVID. Who actually thinks we're actually going to get to the end of the season?
Oh, I think it's 30-70. Yeah, 30% will get to the end of the season, mate. 70% something will happen.
Yep, I'm with you.
Ridgeman?
Yeah, I have to say, if I put my sensible head on, I think that, and when I mean my sensible, I'm talking for everybody else as well. So if everybody agrees that they're going to follow the protocols properly and they do that, then we'll get to the end of the season. One of the problems is that you've got a set of protocols there, and all it takes is one team or one person in one team, just like Bolingoli did, to go out and do the business there, and it would just be called off, the whole thing. So that could be a deliberate act, easily.
The problem with the Bolingoli one, isn't it what he done, mate? Yeah, he came back. It was nearly a week he'd been back.
That's correct. No, he came back and then went training for a week.
He's no spoke to anybody. He's no told anybody. He's
right.
When he's gave them all their trinkets and their fags. Nobody's went, where were you for the weekend? Come on, who's kidding who?
I mean, they've just blatantly lied. I mean, that's what that club's all about. They just lie all the time. So they've just blatantly lied.
Bolingoli's a separate entity to Celtic, is it not?
That's true, aye. That's true.
I sincerely believe that
it's another internal investigation, huh?
Well, we're all right then. I was disappointed when I never heard that we were going to do one, because we know how effective they are. So that's all right. I'll sleep easy tonight.
I think as the boys
say that many.
Sorry, Oxter, I was going to say, I just hope and agree with what the boys have said earlier, that Rangers have got they're so far away from any of this nonsense, and stay that way, because it's very easy to get involved. And people will involve you just for badness.
Listen, individuals will make errors, mate, and mistakes.
Yep. Absolutely, yep.
Anybody who's working in industry, this will be dealing with it all the time, mate. I can tell you a few stories myself, but when the breach is done, do you believe that guy came back on Tuesday and then never spoke to anybody and it carried on? Does anybody believe that?
No chance.
I find it hard to believe. I do. I said this the other night. I find it hard to believe that he's came back and he said, I've all had 2 days off. and not one person has said to him, "What did you do in your days off?" And no bothered. So they're just going about their merry way. Did they think nothing? Or did they not think anything? Maybe, I don't know.
Can I just add, my wee lassie's 8 years of age, mate.
Make this point, Paul.
Sorry, mate. Yep.
Also, with the COVID, with the risk assessments for the players, their whereabouts would be part of that risk assessment. So they should be getting asked when they walk back into the bubble, where have you been? What have you done?
Yep.
Yeah, good point. That's a good point. Have you been anywhere?
Every working man and outside football, Oxford, anybody that's in a working, still at work, whatever, we're all going through this stuff. We all know we're updated on a daily basis, or every second day, to what the government changes are, what the rule changes are. So I can't believe for a minute that football's not going through the same. These guys are probably briefed on a daily basis. Can I just add, my wee daughter Maya, she went back to school today, and right away, all her class, she was telling me about it when she came in for school this afternoon. She'd come in and say to me, Dad, we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't. She's 8 years of age, Oxford. So if she understands the rules, but she's been told at a primary school today, primary 6, she's been told today and she understands fully. I can't believe, mate, that a grown adult in any walk of life, any factor of life, doesn't get what the rules are.
He's gutted because he shut down the smoking sheds.
You get what I'm coming to, mate, don't you?
Aye, exactly.
To
be fair, at her age, she's too intelligent for that mob. Help me out here. Kenny, I know you've been sitting there, mate. Kenny, do you believe that guy come back and in 5 days never told a soul where he'd been for a couple
liars.
of
Liars. Completely lying.
I'm not saying they're liars, I just don't believe them.
Nah, definitely not. He's told somebody.
Yep.
Do you think the investigations that are going to have, whatever it is they're going to have against them, do you think they'll dig that
an independent one, mind.
No, but do you think they'll dig that out? Because look, I don't know if it goes anywhere near independent. Then the independent people, there's got to be a lot of them the same as us. I don't mean Rangers fans, but I mean sceptical. Sorry?
Experience in that game, I'll do it for
well, and you know what I mean? That people will say, wait a minute, let's look at this. And there's a logical steps. When you came back, what did you do when you came back for holiday? Bang, bang, bang. Who did you speak to? Who were your contacts? Right, let's go and do it. No, I don't know.
But would you think, if you were risk assessing a bubble for professional football players, Albert, I know you've been away for your job for a while, but if you were in this time, as soon as they come back in the door, they'd have to be walking past somebody and telling their movements for the last 48 hours, wouldn't you?
Exactly. That's part of the protocol. That's part of the procedure you need to follow. It's a fact of life. So they're turning and saying, we've got all our players back and nobody's asked any of the players now. Because if you can't say you've just no asked him, they've not asked any of the players. So any one of the players could have broke the rule.
They've not had any measures in place to
exactly
people's movements. Yes.
Or here, did they know where he was all along? So they didn't need to ask him.
I know, that's it. They're lying. That's it, Paul. You've got it in one. They're absolutely just lying. They're starting to shower a sleek at trumpets, by the way. They're at it all the time, and they're just got out lying.
I might be wrong, but I've just, if a question's not been asked, in my opinion, they probably knew where he was, so they didn't need to ask.
All right. Alex.
Hello.
You're very fair.
I thought you forgot about me there.
No.
I was just listening there. I think, 100% I agree with you guys. Celtic knew where Bolingoli was, but they're just spinning it. The usual, the Hollycomb spin. We knew nothing about it, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully it'll go away. You've not heard anything about Edward, with these horns in the face with Kilmarnock last week, with compliance officer. And then you've got the SPFL showing their cards with Hearts again, with stopping them for training. But they allow Hull to come up and train in the same training fields. They're just, they're showing their card right away. Nothing's going to happen. I'm telling you, nothing will happen to the clubs. The players involved will get fined and suspended, but I guarantee nothing will happen to the clubs.
Here's my prediction. I don't know whose phone that is. It keeps beating. I've got a funny feeling I know. It begins with B. The players will get a 3-match ban when they come back, and the clubs will get fined £2,500. There you go.
Aye, poultry.
Watch this space. Anyway, Bridgeman, we've reached that time of the evening.
Oh, yeah, okay. Marvellous. Well, by the way, Ox, yeah, great night tonight. Marvellous, great discussions. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I hope everybody else enjoyed it as well. Really good stuff. Really good panel and really good phone-ins. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, in particular Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, big game coming up. Biggest game of the season coming up now. Everybody keep it going for the Rangers. Out there and mollycoat them Rangers. Keep it going.
Could I thank Albert, Alex, Kenny for joining us, Andy Felix, of course Mr. Bubbles who popped in, Georgie Logan, of course Bridgeman, Portbear, Fox for doing the technicals and the producing this evening. Thanks to Fox for that. I hope Old School Blues a good weekend. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back on Sunday at 3:30 with a pre-match show and a build-up to the Livingston game. Thanks for listening. Take it away, Foxy boy.
Ever since I recall, I have followed football, and ingrained in my heart are the Rangers FC. Through good and the bad times, of happy or sad, it will always be Rangers for me. For when I was lost, I was led by the hand down the Paisley Road West. I will never forget that beautiful sight of the red, blue and white. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. And I vowed to my dad, if I would have a lad, I would show him the way, as he did on that day. And so here I stand with young Lyle by the hand, after walking down Paisley Road West. For when I was lost, I was led by the hand down the Paisley Road West. I will never forget that beautiful sight of the red, blue and white. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. There's a great sense of pride that I feel deep inside as I'm watching the Jazz with my father and son. And it's sure safe to say, at the end of the game, win or lose, we will all follow on. For when I was lost, I was led by the hand down the Paisley Road West. I will never forget that beautiful sight of the red, blue and white. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. From that day I'd be Rangers for life.